Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And the Chennai Super Kings have beaten the Mumbai Indians by 20 runs in this huge game. On the 11s of both sides starting off for the Mumbai Indians, they went with the same team they went with against the Royal Challengers Bengaluru in their previous game. I would have played Noah Tashara ahead of Romario Shepherd, considering where Shepherd is slotted to bat in this lineup. Where if he has to play, let's say, 20 deliveries in innings, it shows that the top six haven't done their job. And if he isn't used bowling the second over of the innings, where you saw for the Ghana Amazon Warriors, that was what brought him and the team success. If he isn't being used to play that role, then he will go for 50 runs whenever he bowls if he bowls 4 overs. And that's why I'd have played Tushara ahead of him, because they've got enough batting, but I knew they wouldn't do that. And for the Chennai Super Kings, I'd said when reviewing the game against the Delhi Capitals that they've not played 2 overseas seamers in previous years. They did that in this case when there is purchase for the economical finger spinner, and I thought Mitchell Santner alongside Ravindra Jadeja would have been a difficult commodity to get away in the middle overs. But it was disappointing, I thought, to see them go with the extra seamer. I thought Mustafizur Rahman shouldn't have played this game considering the conditions on offer, and we saw how he went in the bowling innings. So I was quite disappointed that they did that. And Deepak Chahar, I think, is still out with injury. He didn't play the previous game, so Shardul Thakur retained his place. And I wasn't surprised this would happen, but I thought it was the wrong decision. Hardik Pandya won the toss and chose to field first. And I thought then and there, CSK were firmly placed to win this game, because looking at the semi-point attack, apart from Jasit Bumrah, where you've got bowlers not being used correctly, they're all going for runs. And that would mean they'd be chasing a 200 plus score against a side where you got Jadeja as a sole spinner, so I thought that was something going against CSK where they didn't have enough spinning options. But pretend if CSK also had played the extra spinner, then it would have been difficult to chase that kind of a score down when you've got 2 quality spinners there. So I really thought MI were allowing CSK into the game when Hardik Pandya won the toss and chose to bowl first. The Chennai openers walked out at bat, and like many others, I was quite surprised to see Ajinkya Rahane walking out ahead of Ruturaj Gaikwad, where we saw he did in the previous season against Mumbai a fantastic knock of 61. But I thought Gaikwad has scored a 67 and unbeaten 67 in the previous game. He's got that confidence. I thought he should have opened the batting when Rahane played that knock last year when he was batting at 3. And secondly, at this venue, especially when you're setting a total, you don't have to go hammer and tongs. The ball moves around, and the first 10 overs is just setting things up before accelerating in the latter 10. So I thought if CSK got to that 45 for 1 in 6 overs, I thought it would be good. Ruturaj Gaikwad can play that role to set things up, so there was no need for him to walk out at 3, even though they wanted Rahane to make use of the power play. He didn't do that, and the judge could say dismiss him already. I didn't think he should have opened the bowling. He did do so, and he dismissed Ajinkya Rahane. So that experiment didn't work, and there was no need to try that out. A partnership ensued between Rachin Ravindra and Ruturaj Gaikwad, where I think they were 20 odd for 1, I think, after 4 overs. The 5th over went for quite a few runs, and they got a decent few runs of Akash Medwal in the 6th, taking to 48 for 1 after 6 overs. I thought it was a good power play from CSK. Once again, I don't know why Akash Medwal was bowled in the power play. We've seen him do better in the middle overs and at the death. He did well against the Rajasthan Royals when defending a low score. Apart from that, he's not done as well in the power play, so I thought he shouldn't have bowled that 6th over, but he did so. Rachin Ravindra was dismissed when the score was on 60 after bowling out Shreyas Gopal, and it was a disappointing dismissal caught behind of a wide delivery. He's been getting some starts, but I think he didn't go as well in the he got a start in the previous game, then was dismissed, so he's been throwing his wickets away, and I have full faith in him to come good in the next few games. And this is the partnership that really set things up for CSK, because I thought they were 80 for 2 in 10 overs, and I thought that was a good platform, and from then you've got to launch. And you saw Ruturaj Gaikwad in it, he was 40 of 30. And when RCB were playing the Mumbai Indians at this venue, you saw Faf du Plessis scored a 61 of 40, I think. And as much as that looks as a good innings, if you've played 30 odd deliveries and you've scored close to 50 runs, your role is to then accelerate from there, finish at a substantially high strike rate and probably score a century, especially if you're an opening batsman. Ruturaj Gaikwad worked out early, was on 40 of 30. I thought at that point in time his job was to get a century. He then scored some quick runs in the next 10 deliveries that was dismissed. So I thought his dismissal took the sheen off what the innings could have been. It was a good innings, but I thought his role, what he should have done was gone on to get 100 to make it a truly impactful innings. But what that acceleration did do was that, as I said, even though they were 80 for 2 in 10 overs, they were 150 for 3 and 15.2 when Gaikwad's wicket fell. And I thought they had a decent platform to get over 200. I thought 210 would be a safe score. They've looked to send Ravindra Jadeja or Daryl Mitchell at 5 before to get some momentum or continue momentum. It hasn't worked thus far. Daryl Mitchell scored 17 of 14 in this game. And as I'd said when previewing the Chennai Super Kings campaign, he prefers to bat at the top of the order, and that's why I had him slotted in at number 3, where he takes a bit of time and then looks to unleash. He's not the power hitter that they think he is. And therefore, if you've got Rahane batting at 3 and Daryl Mitchell playing the side, one of those two can't play. If Rahane is going to bat in the top 3, Daryl Mitchell cannot play in the side. So I think what should have been done is if you played Moyani ahead of Daryl Mitchell, he would have done a lot more of those 14 deliveries and would have provided a finger spinning option which would have helped on the surface. So I thought they should have played Moyani in this game ahead of Daryl Mitchell if Rahane was going to play. And they're 180 for 3, I think, in 19 overs. And after being 150 in 15, that finishing kick at the end was neutralized because they sent out Daryl Mitchell at number 5 and Bumrah bowled 2 fantastic overs. So even if the last over goes for 14, and you got Akash Madhwal, who yes went for 37 in his 3, but we've seen him go well at the death before. I thought they could have given him that over. Instead, what they do, Hardik Pandya bowls. He was, I think, on 1 for 17 in his 2 overs, gives 26 in the last over and brings them to 206. I said 210 would be a safe score. They got to 206, even though they were at great danger of their finishing kick being jeopardized. And I thought for MS Dhoni fans, for CSK fans, it would have been great that it happened for a reason in the end, because after Daryl Mitchell was dismissed, MS Dhoni 3 sixes in his first 3 balls, runs at 2 in the last 4, 20 off 4. We've seen him play such knocks even against Delhi Capitals before, and if though in this case where, as I said, the finishing kick was in jeopardy, if they'd got less than 200, Mumbai would have been favourites to chase this down. But with the impact that he gave, and I expected Hardik Pandya to miss his legs, and we saw what happened. So it was great seeing MS Dhoni play the way he did, but I really didn't understand. Yes, he wants to prove a point going into the T20 World Cup, but he should not have bowled this last over. So the moment I saw him preparing to run up to bowl, I thought 20 runs could be got, instead 26 was got. So a rescuing over for CSK. And now on the Mumbai Indians bowling card. As I'd mentioned before, the problem with this attack is not necessarily that they're bad bowlers, it's more so how they're managed. Mohammad Nabi opens the bowling in the previous game, goes to 7 runs in the 1 over that he bowls. In this game, none for 19 is 3. And on a surface where the economical finger spinner will have purchased, he doesn't bowl out. I don't know why. Bumrah once again none for 27 in his 4, a cheat code for them. And George Coetzee surprisingly had a better day today, 1 for 35 in his 4. Now, we've seen that he's gone for above 40 runs in most of the games, so this was an improvement. And Shreyas Gopal, the 1 over that he bowled, he dismissed Rashid Ravinda. Now, if you're looking at how the others have been managed, well, Mario Shepherd, I'll say this again, if he does not bowl the second over, which is how he was used for the Guyana Amazon Warriors and a bit for the Joburg Super Kings in the 2022 season, or I think 2023 season, then he will not be effective. In this game, none for 30. In this innings, none for 33 in his 2, and especially considering the final was also given on a platter for CSK, this score could have been reduced quite a bit if Shepherd hadn't bowled when he had bowled and Hardik Pandya hadn't bowled the last over. And Akash Madhwal, he was bowled for 1 over on the power play. They played that over with some ease, and therefore it got CSK to that 48 for 1 score. They won the power play. I don't think George Coetzee should open the bowling, even though he did better today than he did in the previous games. But they've been opening the bowling with him, and I feel the attack is being mismanaged. So As long as they keep doing this, and especially if they're playing the same side, this bowling would concede 200 more often than not. And especially if Bumrah concedes a few more runs, even if he goes at 9 over his 4, then you may see quite a bit more runs being scored, as you won't have that ball to control things alongside Nabi, as though they're not bowling out. If Nuwan Tushara had played this game ahead of Romario Shepherd and Hardik Pandya hadn't bowled the last over, and you've got bowlers being used in their particular roles well, would CSK have scored 206, especially considering their finishing kick wasn't as good for the most part? No, they wouldn't have. So, expected tactical mismanagement from him like that. The Mumbai Indians openers walked out to bat, and since Patriana was bowling in this innings, I thought that factor meant they had to get a few more runs than what I'd said in the first innings for CSK. They got to 63 without loss at 6, so I thought they had a good power play. They'd won that phase. And we've seen Tushar Deshpande bowls good outswingers to the right-hander. We saw him do that to Rohit Sharma in this innings. Ishan Kishan, however, I thought not one delivery was testing him on that weak zone outside off stump, but we saw Andre Berger dismiss him when the Rajasthan Royals played at the Wankhede Stadium, and they won that game convincingly. So I thought the CSK seamers didn't test that weak zone at all. That's why Ishan Kishan didn't have much trouble in getting the runs. And I thought after the power play, Patirana would bowl a couple of overs, and Jadeja, I thought, should have bowled 4 overs consecutively. And Patirana bowled the 7th over, and the first ball he bowled, he dismissed Ishan Kishan, and the catch was taken by Shardul Thakur. I would have sent out Tilak Verma at 3 because Jadeja was bowling at the other end. We've seen Tilak Verma when he's been forced to cut off the left arm finger spinner. He does tend to be dismissed in that fashion, and he's been dismissed by Jadeja a few times, which is why I thought Tilak Verma could have been sent out ahead of him. But I didn't expect Suryakumar to be dismissed in the fashion that he was. A soft dismissal, trying to play the ramp shot and then a fantastic catch taken at Mustafiz Rahman. So, 2 vital wickets in the same over, and CSK were right back in looking to defend the score. They're gonna walked out at number 3 and expectedly played his shots. A very nice innings of 31. He should have continued, but he was looking quite good. But unfortunately, once again dismissed by Patirana, where he was the main contributor in terms of wickets for CSK in this innings. And from that point onwards, the case where I think you need 77 of 34. With how he's going now, is Hardik Pandya going to win you the game from there? No, he isn't, especially when you've got Tim David and Romario Shepherd waiting, who are more brutal hitters when Jadeja has already completed his 4 overs and Rachendra Ravindra's not bowling. So you're only facing paces from then on. Would Hardik Pandya have been the main candidate to win you the game from there? No, he wouldn't be. But we have seen this in this tournament. The players who are more so in contention for the T20 World Cup spots for India are looking to prioritize themselves. It's understandable, yes. Unfortunately, 2 off 6 for him. And I thought his captaincy wasn't clear in the first innings. The bat, this 2 off 6 was something that the momentum was going. Yes, the CSK bowlers bowled quite well, but was he realistically going to win them the game from that situation based on how he's been going? No, he wasn't going to be. So this wasn't a great day for him as a captain or as a batsman. And Tim David walked out, did a couple of 6s, was dismissed, and a bit of a formality after that point in time. So a very good win for the Chennai Super Kings. And on Rohit Sharma's innings, it's a case where 105 of 63 was 51 of 30. And when Ravindra Jadeja was bowling, you saw when he was bowling in the low 100 kph, Rohit Sharma was trying to play a few shots behind square to create scoring opportunities. And now when you look at Mitchell Santner bowling, he usually tosses it up and bowls the ball much slower than Jadeja. And he thrives when the batsmen don't use their feet against him. Towards the end, the batsmen were swiping in hope and desperation to get some quick runs. I felt if Santner had bowled alongside Jadeja today, then he would have had a field day, would have got at least a couple of wickets and would have been economical. So I thought Moeen Ali should have played ahead of Daryl Mitchell and Santner should have played ahead of Mustafiz Rahman. But apart from that, everyone bowled well. I was impressed with Shardul Thakur today with his variations, bowling those slow deliveries. You haven't seen that before. And run for 35 in Wankhede, I thought was a huge improvement from what we have seen from him before. I thought it was a very good performance from him. Jadeja expectedly none for 37 and 4 when defending a 200 score, that too being the sole spinner. I thought he was good. And Tushar Deshpande, both good outswingers. So Rohit Dalyan, 1 for 29 is 4. I also thought he did very well in this game. And the star of the show, Matisha Patirana, he was the reason why I thought Mumbai should have got a few more. I mean, they got those runs in the end, but I thought that 60-odd score in the power play, he was the reason why I thought Mumbai should have looked to get a few runs in the power play. And 4 for 28 and 4, picking up vital wickets as well. Yes, it was a soft dismissal, but had he continued and played a few shots, then they lost by 20 runs in the end after doing things wrong throughout the game. This could have been a closer game. So I thought Matisha Patirana expected to be fantastic. And this isn't only down to what he's been doing at CSK as well. He had a good hour T20, he was bowling quickly. I think 152 a few times. And we knew he was going to go in with that kind of confidence, bowling for CSK, a franchise that I thought set him off in terms of starting to thrive in the T20 circuit. And a fantastic performance from him leading the attack on this occasion. So a good win for CSK today, but I still think they're overcomplicating things. There was no need for Rahane to open, given the requirements when batting at this venue, especially when batting first. I feel they should have played Moeen Ali ahead of Daryl Mitchell and Mitchell Santner ahead of Mustafizur Rahman. And I don't agree with playing the two overseas seamers. It worked for them today, but will it work for them all the time? When we saw that against the Delhi Capitals as well, then you don't know. So I feel tactically they weren't that great in this game either, but they got the job done. So well done to them. And the Mumbai Indians, you see Rohit Sharma's innings 105 or 63. There's been some debate as to how this century was in terms of the context of the chase. He was 51 or 30. Then, as I said, when Jadeja was bowling those deliveries in the low 100 kph, he did struggle to get those away. He was looking to go behind square. And I thought also Tushar Deshpande and Shardul Thakur bowled very well towards the end. So did Matisha Patirana, nailing his Yorkers. And therefore, after being a bit strike deprived to the middle phase, he couldn't get that kick that he wanted to get. So was this the most impactful of innings? No, it wasn't, especially in the latter half. However, I thought with the innings that he played, could you still have looked to get closer to the score that they had to chase? Yes, you could. So a good innings from him, yes, but I also thought they bowled very well to him in the latter phase, and combined with a lack of strikes in the middle overs, it meant that we couldn't see the finishing kick that we wanted to get after scoring 51 or 30 balls. But it was nice to see him get a century after a long run in the IPL. So that's on this game. I might have to play no one to Tushar, and CSK have got to improve tactically, but they've won 4 out of 6, so let's see where they go from here. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?